Since you are in a trinogamous relationship, have you all discussed who your hall passes would be?
Oh, God. Is there a camera waiting for me? Hello?
Coming.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Let me guess, the Mormon church?
Yes, there's more men.
Come on in.
Thank you.
We could talk about your careers and your toxically good art from all of you all day, but I really, really want to know about your relationship because I don't know if you've seen my Twitter, but I'm all about sex positivity, about queer people creating their own destiny and journey within their own relationships. So I want to talk to you about this throuple situation that I am just obsessed with.
Oh, I love that.
So before we start, I don't want to piss anybody off, but is there any question that you're just like, oh my God, I'm so tired of people asking that?
The one thing that is the biggest misconception that we've come across is that most people automatically assume, oh, you're in a throuple, so you guys must be open, or you guys must have orgies, or there's always a revolving door.
Right.
You're always inviting somebody in. Right. Over the past almost 10 years, we've kind of had to explain to people like, no, it's a trinogamous relationship.
Yes.
And that's very different for some people to understand. But you know, when you say something like, oh, we're a couple, but there's three.
Right.
So we're a throuple.
Yeah. I would love to know like your meet cute story, like who met who first, like take me back to the dawn of this beautiful throuple.
You tell that when we met.
Well, Derek and I met in 2005 at Pamela Anderson's fashion show with Heather Rhett in Las Vegas at the Palms.
Yes.
And I couldn't believe the likeness to Britney and how people freaked out. Yeah. And I told his friend, hook me up, and she was smiling and was like, oh yeah. Needless to say, again, she didn't hook me up,
no.
But so 2 years later, I invited Derek over to my best friend's house to watch The Devil Wears Prada, and I was moving out of my place, looking for a new place, and Derek said he had a room for rent. So I was like, oh, well, maybe I should come over and check it out tomorrow. So I came to check it out.
I had 2 guest rooms and then my master bedroom. So he looks at the rooms, and I'm like, either one, you know, this one is closest to the bathroom, this one doesn't have a closet. So whichever one. We end up in the master, and he's looking at it. He sits on the bed, and he's like, well, I like this room the best. Pulls me on the bed. Now I'm on top of him, and we're kissing. And I was like, am I still going to get the rent money? So
it's not what the situation is.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, well, and now I have a boyfriend, I guess. So it happened very quickly, within a matter of 2 weeks from then you
amazing.
moved in.
Derek was one of the only people that I hadn't really gotten to know in Vegas that I wanted to know more about.
I'm very guarded.
We started hanging out, and we were inseparable, and just started doing so many fun creative things together.
Oh, and then how did you come in, Hooker?
I kind of had moved to Vegas. I just finished up my military contract and I wanted to do something for myself. So I moved to Vegas with the intention of kind of pursuing my own passions. And of course, in that moment, I was like, I'm not going to pay attention to anybody else. I'm just focused on me. For the first time in my life, I'm focused on me. And then that's when I get into my long-term committed relationship with not one, but 2 people. I met them, you guys, in the first month.
February of 2012.
Yeah, we went over to his ex-boyfriend's house to do yoga, and Mac was there, Mackenzie, and super friendly, and just started coming over to play video games all the time. It was pretty instant how often he wanted to hang out. We even took him to the airport when he went on his last assignment for
to Morocco.
Yeah, the service.
Aww.
So when I was in Morocco, I kind of found myself thinking of them like the whole time. And so that's how I knew that there was something more there. And I realized after a few months that we were basically in a relationship between the 3 of us just without labels. And being military, I'm very territorial. So I realized in that moment, you know, that I do have feelings, that I need to set some boundaries and make it official. So that way, if something happens, I have a right to be mad, you know?
You've been doing it for so long. You've been in this amazing relationship. First thing people a lot of times wonder, it's like, how do they do it? And, you know, I just want to ask about like some of the obstacles that are unique to being in a trinogamous relationship?
It requires a great deal of confidence
Yeah.
to date an entertainer. You know, you have to be very secure. It also requires a great deal of confidence and a sense of security to date two people.
Yeah.
You know, I love the love that they share between the both of them because they have 5 years of history before me. So I respect that. And it makes me happy and warms my heart to see them being affectionate together or loving on each other or, you know, sharing moments together because it lets me know that our relationship is good. You know, I was able to kind of let my guard down
Yeah.
because my walls are up and heavily guarded, heavily
And
decorated.
they're so tall.
Yeah.
They're so tall. It was easy for me to kind of let my guard down with them because I'm like, oh, you know, they've been together for 5 years. They trust each other. They obviously have never screwed each other over. So these are two good people,
Yeah.
you know?
Just in my experience, when I've been with couples versus dating one other person, I feel like for me, I felt safer because I saw a love between two people, and it didn't feel like I was going to be taken advantage of, or it was going to be oh, we're done with you, you know. So I love hearing that. Nick, I wanted to ask you. You have two beautiful drag queens just flagging you right now. What are some of the misconceptions about dating these two?
People not really knowing the ramifications of the rules, like, you know, are we, you know, monogamous towards one another or trinogamous, as you say, you know. I'm not just dating two drag queens, like, I'm also shopping for two guys on their birthdays. Like, I'm shopping for 4 people. There's 5 of us living in the home.
We are so expensive.
Since you are in a trinogamous relationship, have you all discussed who your hall passes would be?
Oh, God.
You know what the crazy thing is? My celebrity hall pass is Alexander Skarsgård because duh. And after we had talked about that, this bitch gets in a movie with him and flies to Iceland to film a movie with Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Thank God it wasn't your hall pass. Otherwise, we might have a problem.
I mean, I almost was going to be like, God, you look so much like Mackenzie. I can't even tell. In the dark, you guys are so symmetrical. It's crazy.
I can't handle you.
And he FaceTimed us twice
Yeah.
with Derek.
Oh my gosh.
Hall pass. So who is your celebrity hall pass?
Oh, God.
It just changes all the time.
I mean, I would have always said someone like Justin Timberlake growing up.
Wow, you really want to live that
It
full-
really was. Yeah,
She is
even
committed.
before doing drag though, like I loved NSYNC.
Yeah.
And I loved Britney and Justin together. I thought it was the cutest thing I'd ever seen. But then there became a point where I was like, wait, so I love Britney, I love Justin. What do I want and who do I want? And how do I want to do it?
Right.
So it was confusing because it's like, do I want to be them or do I want to be with them? And so it's just beauty's beauty, love is love, and honestly, it's anyone sexy is my hall pass.
Okay, no,
That's the answer.
That's not how
Oh,
it
it's
works.
not the
You
answer.
only get one. You don't get them all.
Well, if it was today you're asking me, it would absolutely be Shawn Mendes.
Ooh.
Yes.
What about you,
We
Nick?
can share.
I've been saying
my
Oscar
gosh.
Isaac lately.
Loves
yeah.
him.
Cuban as well.
obsessed.
I mean,
He's obsessed.
Yeah.
yeah, something very amazing going on with the face there.
Yeah, he will watch any movie.
Have you seen the video of him looking at Jessica Chastain on the
Didn't
red
he like
carpet?
lick her
I was
arm
like,
or kiss her arm?
he kissed her arm.
her
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah, Nick, why don't you look at
very
us that
intimate.
way?
Oh, please.
Why don't you kiss my arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Why don't you caress me?
Oh,
Me next.
Yeah.
petting.
I feel like a lot of people in the queer community are either curious about being in a trinogamous relationship or a throuple, but then they get that like, oh, but my family and my friends. So how did you navigate, dealing with family and friends and like saying, well, this is us, and how did that go?
That was super tricky. I mean, me being raised in a Cuban Catholic family, it took years to get all of our family members on board, and still almost 10 years down the road in this throuple, not everybody is still fully on board, but we're extremely grateful for all the family that is so
Most of
close to
them.
us and
All the ones that matter.
and super supportive.
With my family, I never even got a chance to come out to my dad because when I did come out to my mom, it was not a great experience. And looking back on it, I'm like, I was a Britney Spears impersonator that moved to Las Vegas. How did you not know I was gay? Like, it's so obvious to me.
Right.
But I'm my mom's baby, and, she wanted a different life for me, which I can completely understand. When she did finally, you know, she loves Nick, and then that was great. And then, you know, introducing a third into it, it was just like a lot or too much. And so I never got to come out to my dad because I didn't want the same problem.
Right.
And one time I spoke at his Rotary about my life and my job and what I do and where I live and all that. And he said, now, how do you want me to introduce Nick? Do I say partner or boyfriend? Or you just let me know so I use the right term that you're comfortable with? And I was like, Dad, stop. I'm like, no, it's whatever you're comfortable with. These are your friends. So however you feel comfortable introducing him is how makes me so happy.
Yeah.
He did not have the easiest time with his mom.
It was so rough.
And it was unfortunate because I was a friend, I'm a roommate, you know, all the things. And it wasn't until her friends were comfortable with their queer kids.
Yeah.
So their lesbian daughters, their gay sons. And then she's like, wait, I have a gay son.
I got one of those.
And I have a famous gay son-in-law. I have two of them.
Yeah.
You know, and then it became something that she was so proud of because it was something like she could really let that flag fly.
His father's totally taken us in, and we visited him several times in the Bahamas. And my father has us over with the entire Cuban family, and is so supportive of the three of us. So, I mean, it's really changed immensely through the years. I never imagined that we would receive the amount of love that we do from family that we do today.
Sometimes we say, oh, we got 3 strikes against us. We're gay, we do drag, and we're in a throuple. But really, like, that's what makes us special to our family.
Yeah.
I came from foster care, so I didn't really have anybody to answer to. So I've always felt really confident to just kind of live my life however I choose, knowing that I have no one, you know, to worry about.
Right.
It's kind of like the glass half full about being in foster care.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, I've got no one to answer to, so I'm gonna do me and live my best life.
And no one to disappoint. No one to feel like that feeling of, oh, they're going to feel like I let them down.
Yeah.
They live
And-
with no fear,
yeah.
for sure. They are like Madonna, like,
Well,
they're like,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna do this, I'm gonna push the buttons.
kind of like Britney, but yeah.
And I'm like, you want to what? They're like,
Oh, yeah. That happens all the time.
Yeah,
She
like,
wants
no
to strip
fear.
on the news.
No fear.
And he's like, no,
I
you
did.
can't do that. And Nebraska
like,
says, well,
Madonna
Madonna
would do it. And I was
Madonna
like,
would do it.
girl.
I love that
So the
dynamic.
sex book is coming next.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to ask, now that we're on topic.
Oh, yes.
One of the things that I'm very vocal about is my support of OnlyFans and sex work and all of the things that live under the sex positivity umbrella. Nebraska, but Mackenzie, you have an OnlyFans. And I wanted to know, how did that go when you were like, I think I want to do this?
You know, first of all, I'm gonna start with the most important part is that it's onlyfans.com/Mackenzie Claude. So please subscribe.
Right.
And it was actually Derek's idea because he
Is a hustler.
is constantly
pimp.
pushing me out of my
Yes.
comfort zone.
I'm a pusher.
Yeah.
He had so many thirsty people on his Instagram. Drop the towel. When are you getting naked?
Right.
Where do I apply to be the fourth? It's like so many things. I was like, make money. How are you going to make money off this? How do you take those people that have no problem, you know, putting themselves out there to be that thirsty and make money off of them? And
How do you capitalize on it?
how do you
Yeah.
capitalize on it? And it was he posted one picture that Nick took on a balcony, you know, just ass, you know, and he was very uncomfortable doing that. Like the Mackenzie I met was like, no, I don't model in underwear. You know, I love
Jehovah's Witness,
suits.
so I was very conservative
Very different.
growing up.
And so that ass picture is his most famous on Instagram. And I said, well, now you just did it for free. So how are you going to take that energy and apply it to something that's going to bring in money to this household?
They have the password to my OnlyFans, so they can go in there and read the messages, see the posts, they take the photos. So it's interdependent. We're a part of every step of the way of each other's creative process. And that money that I make off of OnlyFans, I buy them gifts with and take them on trips with.
And once you've shared yourself, like in a way that, like, you know how Madonna did with her sex book?
Yeah.
It's all out there on the table.
Yeah.
Johnny, I am a model and my body is my canvas.
That's right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to that.
I love that.
I want to switch gears just a little bit because today is a very important day. We're filming. Britney is in court right now, and we're gonna hear if she's free soon, hopefully. Hopefully we don't drag this out any longer, but I would love to hear, especially from you, about the Free Britney movement, and you all as well, about how you feel about that.
That one was very tricky in the beginning because, first of all, when she went missing back in 2019 after Domination was canceled, it had been way too long that she hadn't posted. And I'm like, that's not like Britney. We always see Britney at some, in some capacity. She loves doing her little videos and her spins and everything. And so I was definitely in that time, like, where is Britney? It's been 2 months since we've seen her. So then when she came out after Easter and she did not look like the Britney that we know and love, very blank. And then made a video about, leave my family alone. You need to respect my privacy. I'm fine. I'm okay. Not only as a fan, but as someone who impersonates her, it was my job to respect her and to listen to her, to believe her. And until she gave me any other indication that things were not okay, then that's where I was. And I got a lot of heat from the Free Britney movement. You don't do enough. You're just like her family. You take from her. And I can't give that any attention because I'm a fan before anything else. And I'm going to listen to my queen. And hearing her testimony, flipped, and it was riveting, and I couldn't believe it, and I broke down, and I thought I could have done more. How did I not know? At the same time, I'm not close to her. I've never been let in. I have a better relationship with her dancers and with Felicia than I ever did her. Her dancers would come to the nightclub and dance with me on stage.
Because they've kept her so guarded.
Yeah, they've just, numerous stories of how her management has treated me, her security team has treated me, and unfortunately that is something that I can't pay attention to because I'm never going to let that destroy the love that I have for Britney and impersonating her on the Strip since 2004.
Because she's never treated you that way.
No.
It's the team that she's had around her.
She's been nothing but kind anytime I've been in her vicinity.
Before the conservatorship, we had a different relationship with Britney and the team. And as soon as that happened, Derek knew something was going on. So when the team would try to interject and change things that were happening, Britney would speak up. She has spoken up before and made sure that Derek was represented.
And I will say that even though you respected what she said when she said, I'm fine, please, I love my family. But prior to that, when you knew she hadn't posted or you knew something was going on, you had posted about it online asking, has anyone seen Britney? Has anyone heard from her? Do we know if she's okay? You were very much trying to galvanize people to get some answers.
I was getting people to rally behind it, Like we had to find her. She's never been missing.
Well, as Britney being my number one, I absolutely appreciate all the work that you do to represent her in such a sweet way. So
Well, thank you.
Free Britney, motherfuckers!
Yes, she's my light.